All right, well, let's begin. Good morning or good afternoon or good evening, depending on what time of day you're watching this. My name is Dan Edwards. I am the team leader and managing broker at the Keller Williams Pacific Northwest here in Everett, Washington. I am joined by one of our agents, Jason Lincoln, with Jason Lincoln's team. Jason Lincoln, I'll let him, I got an introduction for Jason, but let me just kind of get into introductions. So our office is organized with what we call an executive leadership. Myself, Dan Edwards, the team leader. We have Susie Cimarol, who's assistant team leader, and also what we call agent services. We have Brandy Griffin, who is our market center administrator. We have our productivity coach, and then we have Tom Ross, and Tom Ross is the designated broker. So just to kind of explain how this office functions is these are the people that are going to help you grow in your real estate career here at the Keller Williams office in Everett. Now let me introduce Jason Lincoln, one of our best agents here in the office. Jason, introduce yourself.
Hey guys, I've been an agent for about 6 years now. Absolutely love it. I hung my license here at Keller Williams. I've been a fan of Keller Williams ever since I've been involved in real estate for about 17 years now. So from my perception, I love the culture. I love the camaraderie and everything that people share inside our business. And I've always found that our environment allows you to succeed. So what I like to do for fun is anywhere from camping, hiking, outdoors. I met my best friend at a really young age, but we've been married now for about 13 years. Been living together for about 7 years. So I'll be more thankful to have her in my life. But yeah, that's a little bit about who I am.
Now, usually at this time when we do an in-person career hour, we usually will go around the room and ask people why they got started in real estate. So Jason, what got you interested in joining in real estate?
Man, everything is just different about real estate on the day to day. What I found working a job is that you got taught the job, and unfortunately, it was the same thing day in, day out, and it was a little redundant for me. So I always needed something with a little bit of flavor. And man, did I land home with real estate? There's just so many different facets to real estate, helping different types of people to different types of transactions that go on. So I never have the same day, and it's super exciting to be a part of.
Awesome. So I have been in real estate for just under 18 years. I'm kind of finishing up my 18th year. And for me, it was really, kind of a legacy. My grandfather bought real estate when he was in his 40s and 50s and was able to really grow and build his wealth from really nothing. And so seeing that, I recognized in my own life that I was owning real estate, but I wasn't really investing and I wasn't helping others invest. So for me, it was to look at that really wealth as a lifelong ability is to have that growth, and so I wanted to be a part of it. Another reason was I wanted to own my own business, and this is one that not a lot of people actually talk about when they think about real estate. But essentially, Jason and myself and the other real estate agents here at Keller Williams are really business owners, right? They own a business, and I have to say it's one of the more profit centric businesses that you can own. For example, if you go over and open a sandwich shop, or you open Jimmy John's, right? Jason, did you own a Jimmy John's franchise? That there's a ton of labor involved in a Jimmy John's restaurant, and the margins are super thin. What would you say the margins are in most of these small businesses and franchises?
Oh, small box restaurant, 8 to 12%, and you're doing good. 16% might be max. And what I'm saying out loud is if you generated $50,000 in sales for the 30 days that you were open for business, times that by 15%, you're making right around that $7,500. So I quickly learned that, as I'm paying 8 to 10% for royalty rights, man, that's where a lot of my profits were being gobbled up. And
So
so
half of your profits went to a royalty?
yeah, yeah.
Wow.
So when I say net gain, I'm saying 15% is a good number, but I also had to pay 10% just for the franchise rights and marketing rights behind that franchise. So it sounds like I would have made 25%, but I had to pay out 10% to the franchise. So I was
Not to mention taxes and managing payroll and
100%.
managing lots of people. So yeah, I think from a business standpoint, if you wanted to start a business, starting a business in real estate would be a direction that I would go. And individual agent can really earn quite a bit of money compared to a sandwich shop, and it's a very a lot less labor intensive. That's just one example. I know there's tons of businesses out there that people make great money and have great margins. That's just one example. Because the thing is the barrier to entry to starting a real estate career is much smaller than owning a franchise or starting a business. I have a lot of really great friends who own fantastic businesses, from dry cleaners, insurance companies, to window washers, gutter cleaners, construction. So there's lots of great businesses out there. But if you have a passion for real estate, like Jason and myself, what a great entry. Now, another reason why people I like this. You said this variety in work, right? So you said every day is a little different. So just give me your last 3 days. Tell me a little bit about what you did the last 3 days.
Well, I did follow back with some people that maybe I haven't talked to in a few weeks, just to kind of see where they were at in the process. Then I was able to get on social media and show some social media what I've been up to. So I was working there to kind of advertise myself. And then also I sat in an inspection. So I got to work with an inspector on a property. And then also part of my day today was I was talking to a lender, I talked to escrow. So I was talking to multiple different people in different lanes. And each person is ultimately different. So just kind of hearing their story and kind of what they're up to is kind of something that I enjoy, because I'm always learning and growing myself. So I'm always looking for things that I can take from others to learn from. So
Yeah,
that's
it really is a varied, like from day to day. Obviously, there's some things that have to happen in a business for it to be consistent. And the one thing that is very consistent, that needs to be consistent in a real estate business, is marketing. We'll touch on that a little bit today, but we're going to actually show you how to get started. We may have future series, Jason and I, where we talk about the nuts and bolts on how to actually really kind of take from what you learned at the real estate classes to your first 90 days. But for today, we just want to kind of get you started. So the other thing why start a career in real estate is it opens the door to additional streams of income. So there are so many ways to make money in real estate. Jason, name a couple.
Oh my gosh, one big one. You can just assign contracts. If you have interested clients out there that are looking for specific properties and you want to obtain that contract first, you put in an offer and then you assign it to somebody. You can own multifamily properties with the type of income that you'll earn it through real estate. You can do sales. You can own a team, which we'll get into much later. There really is unlimited amounts of opportunity in real estate. To me, you put yourself in the path of where the money is originated. 81% of the loans created through real estate is really our money supply out there. So putting yourself in that path, really, I believe, is the way that you can become more successful.
Yeah, I would say one another way is you can do commercial real estate, right? You can help people with leases. You can help people acquire land. You can actually help them develop that land. You could actually build homes. You can also do property management. So there's a lot of different lanes that you can get in the real estate business, and as many a lot of people think of residential. There's many niches in residential. So you could find a bunch of builders and help those builders buy, renovate, and sell homes. So there's just so many different avenues that it's kind of indicative of why there's so many people that choose to get started, because they can see a need in each of those places. So if you're watching this video and you're like, yeah, there's this niche, and this niche. Yeah, that's great. And I hope you're excited about, taking the next steps, because that's really one of the things that draws a lot of people. Is there's a lot of different ways to make money in a career in real estate. All right, so let's talk about the specifics. You want to cover these here, Jason?
It seems simple, but it is hard. But really, you need to be at least 18 years of age or have a high school diploma or something equivalent to that, like a GED. You need to complete 90 hours of classwork. You need to pass the Washington State National also and the national exam as well. And then you need to join a brokerage, and then you need to get your fingerprints. So if you follow these 5 steps, that's how you can get started in real estate.
Yeah, so just to start out, high school diploma and over 18 years. And you can go with the GED or 18 years. Again, the 90 hours is in person or online. So there are various, I know I've had people approach me and say, I've been studying up and I'm taking the courses, and all they did was the practice courses, and they didn't actually do the 90 clock hours. You actually have to have butt in seat for 90 hours. So just make sure you're in selecting your class, you're doing that. Pass Washington and National, and then a background check. So the fingerprints, the join a real estate brokerage is when you're done with all of that. I would highly encourage you to align yourself with a real estate brokerage while you're doing that, if you have the capacity, in order to get yourself ready to hit the ground running. And we'll talk a little bit about what hit the ground running can look like here. So here are the actual hard startup costs. So I mentioned that this is a low barrier to entry, right? Compared to starting a business. So school, anywhere from $400 to $800 for all the classes. We have an asterisk here. We have a product called K-Score. We'll talk about that here for your school. Exam is $210. The DOL licensing fee, that's Washington State Department of Licensing, $223. Fingerprint and background checks, $42.80. Northwest MLS dues. So in this area here in the greater Seattle area, the Northwest MLS is every 6 months. That's the database where all of the listings are put into. So to get the information that's being shared by brokers around the greater Seattle area, it's the Northwest MLS. If you're outside the greater Seattle area, there are other MLSs that have different dues. So I believe there's one up north in Bellingham. There's one south down in Vancouver. There's also one in Spokane that's different than the MLS. And I don't have those rates in this video. So if you're watching us from outside the greater Seattle area, just know that would be different. The super E-key is $15 or $14.09 a month. And then the realtor dues is about $705 per year. Now, again, that varies too, depending on what location. King County, Snohomish County, Pierce County, Island counties, they're all a little different, but that's the general ones. It's kind of, so as far as startup costs, what else do people need to kind of be aware of, Jason, just to kind of be ready?
One thing I wanted to bring up is that 705 per year getting started is a prorated dollar amount. So if you're getting started in March or April or even November, that will be a prorated amount. Just wanted to clarify that. So
Yeah,
if you start January 1st, that's the maximum total that you'd be charged. Other things that we have are business cards, signages, lock boxes, photography, marketing materials, things of that would be other costs to you. But from my point of view, whenever you're starting a business, go get the business, and then you can worry about getting the marketing and the signage and lockbox. But you will have to anticipate that. Other things that other agents will do is we'll help each other by either lending you a lockbox when you first get started, or you might need to use the signage from the office to get started. So there's other things that we can do to offset those upfront costs to support you through your business.
Yeah, definitely. I would also point out that this exam fee is per exam. So if you do end up having to take the exam multiple times, it will be that amount each time. So so study well, be prepared for that. We have some resources available to you as well for exam prep. So just be aware we've got that coming. All right, so let's break down the schooling. So we've got a couple of offerings that we were going to talk about today because we have a partnership. The first one is through Rockwell Institute. It's been around for quite some time. That would be 40 years, 50 years almost, not quite 50 years. And they have been the undisputed leader in real estate education. They have live, they have instructor-led and online options. And when you sign up for it, it will take, you have 6 months to complete it. Now, I will say that we do reimburse you out of your first deal. So if we get you signed up with this sign up link, which you can see right here is rockwell.sjv.io/KW Everett. And out of your first deal, we'll go ahead and reimburse you the cost. You just need to make sure to remind us to do so. Now, the cost to this, I believe, I'm going to slide this over here. This is the site. So we've got the ultimate package is $599. Instructor package is $500. The online self-paced is $299. Okay, and that does, I'll show you the contents. That online comes with fundamentals, which is 60 hours. Washington practices, which is 30. So there's your 90 hours. Then we do test prep. student support and industry experts and textbooks, plus a pass guarantee. So all of that is included for $300 through Rockwell. Okay, and again, this link is make sure I do that, is right there, rockwell.sjv.io/KW Everett. And it'll be included in the email that you got with this. So if you wanted to sign up for that, you can do. Jason, did you use Rockwell when you got licensed, or you use a different?
I started with Rockwell. A huge fan of Rockwell. At the time, it was a little bit more expensive, so they are being kinder to us now. But from my point of view, I did all 12 practice tests. I did complete the 90 hours. And by the time I walked in to go get licensed, Susie and Julie in the same sentence really made sense when I was taking the coursework. After 12 practice exams, you'll start to get really familiar with the questions that are being asked. And when I walked out of there, I passed with flying colors. And I just felt very confident going into the testing center. So that's all I would recommend, is that just do all 12 practice tests, and you'll feel very confident, and they will provide you scores at the end of each test. And you can always go back through any of the content needed. Everything's clickable. And so if you are struggling in a particular section, they will allow you to study more in that particular section. And what made me feel very confident going with them is they had the exam pass guarantee, where if you don't pass and you did all their coursework and you completed all the practice exams, they will reimburse you. So really there's no loss there. But again, if that's your concern, I don't think you'll fail as long as you do the homework from that perspective.
Yeah, awesome. Thank you. I too used Rockwell since 2006. So when I got licensed back in the day. Now, we do have another offering that's no cost. So it's sponsored by our company, Keller Williams here. And so there is an associated cost, but we actually cover that for students. And essentially, it's the 90 hours pre-licensing, and it does include what we call KW Prep, which is a separate online version of how to get ready for actually selling real estate. I'm not going to lie, there's a lot of legal stuff that goes into the Washington State licensing, both national and statewide. But a lot of the practical stuff of what to do really starts with not only our brokerage, but this KW Prep program is going to kind of get you ready for some of the things that you should know and be prepared for in order to have a successful start to your career. We've had several students complete this successfully. And I would say this, though, you always get what you pay for. Sometimes for me, I just take it more serious. When I put some skin in the game, I'm going to show up and get it done. So while we're happy to sign anybody up, because we don't want this cost of $300 to keep you from starting a fantastic career in real estate. So that's what this is here for. The feedback that we get is it's not as good as Rockwell, but again, we've had people complete it, so I don't want to hold you back from that. Anything else you want to add about Kaplan here?
No, I would just relate it to our culture with Keller Williams. From that perspective, we're always willing to help and help answer any questions. So if you are having more questions that you feel like you're not getting answers to, just raise your hand, and instructors during your classes will answer your questions and be very supportive through the process. From what I've gathered from all agents.
So. And reach out to your folks here too. We're here to help. So, all right. So let's talk about this. How does a new agent succeed in a career in real estate, Jason?
That's a tough question. I always get asked that, right? And if, from my point of view, if you're looking to generate a 6-figure income on 10 hours worth of work week, that would be a very tough decision, tough conversation. So just know that you want to treat your business like a business, right? This is you pouring yourself out there into the universe. And so, yeah, it's going to require you to work a minimum 40 hours a week. And of course, your career can shift as you go, but you put into it what you get out of it. And several people, including myself and people around us that have poured 40, 50, 60 hours a week in, have been able to make well over 6 figures. And so, I would say that's where you start to succeed. Things that Keller Williams does amazing is we are the #1 training company out there. So we believe in investing into our training and education. So believe in that. If you're struggling in things, we have tons of tools that can give you the type of education that are needed to make you more successful. And then just follow the models and systems that we provide, and then just stick to a schedule. If you're getting up at 9, 10, 11, 12 o'clock in the morning, it's going to make it harder to finish off your day and to generate those people that you need to help support them. So just keep to a schedule like you would Monday through Friday from 8 to 5. Just stick strong to working those hours the way you want to work them. Of course, it can be flexible if you're got other commitments that you need to. Just know that you want to stick to a schedule, because if you're helping people, they get to know your schedule and things like that. So it's important for you to kind of stick to that schedule, and then build a network of mentors. For me, one of the things that I would say contributed to my success is I was watching like HGTV, and I was watching all these real estate shows, and I ran across a couple people that I started following on Instagram, and I started following them on Facebook. And so I would say just build a network of folks around you that are constantly either providing videos or information or something of that nature to really kind of bring you up front more, I would say, quicker on the speed process. So having people to reach out to answer those questions are always going to be super helpful.
Yeah, you're 100% right, Jason. I want to add something to that first one: treat your business like a business. I want to say treat your business like a job. And, if you were your employee, would you allow your employee to show up at 11 o'clock? Right. And let's just say you're going to work from 11 o'clock and you're going to work an 8-hour day. That's totally fine. That may be your jam. And I love it because I like to work late sometimes too. But if you really expect to make six figures and you're working less than 40 hours a week, it's not likely. Now we do have some, or I do have some kind of curriculum, if you will, for how to go from a part-time to full-time agent. And I think that will allow for a 20-hour work week if you mix it in the time where you're working. So a lot of people don't have the money to just boom, cold turkey and jump into a full-time real estate career, because as you know, or may not know, is that the commission comes at the end of the transaction. So you're going to work for about a month to 3 months before your first deal hits the bank. So knowing that, you've got to, if you're working a full-time job, in order to pay the monthly mortgage and food with your meals, then essentially what you need to do is find 20 hours outside of that time that you can hold yourself accountable, just like if you were to have a second part-time job. And I can tell you, this part-time job has a higher upside than many of the other part-time jobs that are out there. So I love this. I love all of that stuff. And I love your story, Jason, about how you build a network of mentors, not just here locally, but nationally, right? Follow what successful people are doing and you will be a success. I love that. Thanks, Jason. Okay. So one of the items here is to invest in your training and education. And Jason mentioned that Keller Williams is the #1 coaching and training company. As a matter of fact, we are a coaching, training, and technology company disguised as a brokerage. So when we talk about education, the first thing that we discuss is this Ignite program. This Ignite program is everything you need to know that you didn't learn in the licensing program. Once you get up to speed with the Ignite program, then we have that next level and the next level of sales, which essentially turns you into a lead generation machine. Now, some of you may be watching this thinking, what does that mean? Jason, what does a lead generation mean?
Whoa, big words like prospecting all the time. So let me get a little granular on that. Is if you know 100 people or if you know 200 people, what I mean is consistently growing the amount of people you know, because you never know who's ultimately going to buy, sell, or invest into real estate until you have those conversations with people. So you need to constantly be meeting new people and adding them to your universe, so that you can have those real estate professional conversations later as time grows, and you just market yourself as the professional and people will raise their hand. And so that's what I would have gathered from Ignite when I took it a few years back, is just constantly getting to know more people in my universe, and then figuring out ways to connect with them and follow back with them and make them important in my life. And so, yeah.
Yeah. When you believe in a product, you tell everybody about it, right? When you believe in, like, I don't know if anybody is, what is it, ShamWow, right? Or, Flex Seal, you see those commercials on TV about a product and how excited they are about that product. And most real estate agents don't recognize that they have to be an evangelist for their product, right? They learn how to be a real estate agent, and then you have to share with people who know you and maybe people who don't what you can do. So when I talked about bold, That's our kind of our next level course of learning how to be a high level, like have a high level of activity around it. Because in a market place where there are lots of real estate agents or lots to compete against, you need to stand out amongst this crowd. And that does start with high level activity. But what BOLD stands for is Business Objectives Life by Design. So it's not just about business, but it's also about how do you design the type of business that you want to have in order to live the life you want to live. So our education is not just about learning to sell real estate. It's also about how do you build a community? And it could be your own community, your family. It could be your city. It could be your church. It could be your, whatever. It could be the biggest life that you want to live, but by design. So anything we do in and around our education is designed to make you the best business owner you can be, so that you can actually pick the kind of life that you want to have. So here is our local training calendar. We're recording this in December, or excuse me, the end of November. So just a few things that we have. You may or may not be able to see this, but every Tuesday we have a sales meeting, and that's at 11 o'clock here. It's a mixture of conversation and expertise. And then we have technology classes scheduled throughout this. We've got stuff community-wise, like we're having dinner, brokers are having dinner at a local restaurant so that we can get to know a new restaurant that just opened up and share social media stuff with folks. We're doing a mastermind on Fridays so that we can come together on topics and help learn from each other. It's really, a mastermind is not designed, it's designed to really help each other learn about what everybody is up to and what everybody's doing, and basically grow each other's business through the mastermind process. So there's a ton of stuff every month, and this is just a short snippet, but we also have regional, we have network, regional, and national events as well. So coming up nationally in February is what we call Keller Williams Family Reunion. And that's a 4-day convention. Keller Williams agents are going to be meeting in Las Vegas this year. And essentially what happens is they tap some top agents that are really having great success. They have them come up on stage and just kind of grill them. So you can take notes. We also provide what we call one-pagers as a result. We've got a whole library of one-pagers of when I talked about that lead generation, kind of the work of getting the word out about you. We have hundreds, really hundreds of playbooks on how to do it somebody else's way. You can adapt it and put it into your own business. So when it comes to training, if somebody ever comes to this Keller Williams office and says, I don't have enough training, I'd be like flabbergasted. There's so much. I mean, right, Jason? I mean, there's always something.
Oh yeah. And one thing to add, guys, you might be asking yourself, well, how do I have conversations with people if I don't know? Well, Monday through Friday, we have a conversation starter at 8:30 in the morning where we go for about a 30-minute role-playing session where we'll just constantly have different styles of real estate conversations. Doesn't matter if it's about investing. It doesn't matter if it's about buying or selling. We do that every single day, Monday through Friday at 8:30 a.m. here at the office. And that I would recommend that highly when you first start out. Show up and you'll get to know some of the top agents in the office. Again, we're highly into collaborating, and you'll be able to pick up speed really quickly on what kind of conversations and topics to bring to the market.
Yeah, learning what to say in any given circumstance is part of being a successful business owner, a successful person in any business. There are about the same things, I would say probably anywhere from 25 to 50 things that people say in and around this business, and being able to confidently answer questions from people, including strangers, that's a skill set. I will add another thing on there as well as contracts. That's a big deal. So Thursdays at 12:30, we have our contracts, remember, with Tom Ross, who's our designated broker. So contracts, everything in real estate's in writing. And when you know the contracts, you serve your clients at a high level. When you don't know your contracts, you put your clients and yourself in litigical risk. Is that even a word? Legal risk. That's a better way to put it. Liturgical. That's like church, right?
I'm following.
Okay, very good. Very good. All right. All right. So path to production. So there's a couple of different, like I said, there's lots of different ways to make money in this business. In our office, we have these 3 pathways. Can you kind of explain them, Jason?
Yeah, so I started out as a solo agent. from that point of view. You have solo agent, coaching program, or team agent. And so solo agent, if you're getting started, it might be more difficult for you because, again, you have to understand the contracts and you have to understand the scripting and things of that nature. So you might want to head towards maybe the coaching program or the team environment. And the coaching program, what that is looking like, going back to the original slide with Jeanette, she's going to work with you on your first 6 transactions. And she will answer all your questions. She'll show you the paperwork. She'll show you kind of the processes, and you don't graduate, but that's kind of what it feels like when you get through it. Those six transactions. Or if you feel like you need some support and you want your marketing dollars taken care of, or you want some of those costs as a new business owner to be covered, you can jump right onto a team here, which we'll show you a little later which ones are hiring, and you can begin your career. And right then and there, you'll have culture where you'll have several agents around you that you can always talk to on a daily basis. You'll have your team leader that can point you in directions, and they can kind of help you with, if you said, hey, I want to put together a Facebook ad, will you cover that for me? That's kind of what the team will do. They'll help produce you leads, and then you can kind of follow up with them. So that's what the team environment will do. Solo, it's going to be all on you. Again, this is, you own your own business, so it's really on your own direction. If you need help with contracts or scripting, again, we do have those programs that you can go towards. We also have transaction coordinator positions out there where people can leverage a transaction coordinator to help them with their contracts. And you just pay your contract coordinator a fee based on what they do for you. So there's several options here to kind of figure out what type of person you are. If you feel like you need a little assistance, but not a whole lot of assistance, I'd recommend coaching program. If you feel like you need to be a part of a big community, then go towards the team. If you're kind of a dominant person where you want to do it all on your own, then solo agent's probably the path for yourself.
Yeah, I think you said it really well there. It really does depend. And I would encourage you to come in, join the office. The office is supporting all of these groups of agents. And then maybe kind of sit down and interview a little, some of the solo agents here, some of the ones that are coached, some on the team, and just get a feel. There are financial considerations when you align yourself with a team and the coaching program. So it just really depends. It depends on how you want to jump into to growing your business. And the cool thing is we encourage it all, and we'll help you make the best decision for your goals in your future. So here are some of the teams that are looking. There is the Ben Kinney team. There's the Platts group, Milestones group, and Puget Properties group are just are 4 of the teams that are looking to add agents. So technology. So remember, I had mentioned earlier on that Keller Williams is a education and technology company disguised as a brokerage. This is one thing that is a huge value proposition for anybody in real estate, is understanding technology. So if you are afraid of technology and you're getting into the real estate business, you're going to do one of 2 things. You're going to have to latch on to somebody, or you're going to have to learn it. So we make learning and embracing technology. We affirm that we utilize technology without being trapped by it. Because why? Our consumers are. Our consumers are utilizing technology, so we need to master it in as much as we can use it as a tool for them. So Command is the technology that began development back in I want to say 5, 6, 7 years ago. So that would be 2015. And essentially, it's the platform for what we call a consumer to close experience, meaning the consumer comes in, searches for homes, or they come in, they meet you, they get cultivated, turned into clients, close the transaction. The transaction embraces the closure process, and then beyond close. So customer service, future follows up, future refinances, future home ownership. So the technology is robust, and it's constantly evolving. Our agents are involved in this process in order to provide a better experience for our clients. The good news is we teach all that information, so you don't have to learn it. And it's part of being in business with you at this Keller Williams office. We're going to not only give you the technology as a part of joining the office, but also walk you through the training so that you understand all the use of it, so that you're not trapped by it, but can move forward. Anything you want to add in the way of technology?
Oh man, I just feel like I would just be adding simple value to
Layers
Keller
on
Williams. It's
layers.
awesome. Just no, it's just awesome. It's very simple. You can't break the system. You can click buttons. You can try things. You won't break it. You won't cause any alarms or bells. If anything, you might just get stuck and you have to raise your hand and ask a question, and somebody will be able to guide you through it. Really.
Yeah.
So it's fairly easy from that perspective.
Okay. So what makes Keller Williams different? I think one of the things is we talked about coaching and mentorship, right? So a culture of education, the local, national, and regional masterminds, and then courses that are developed by agents to teach other agents how to do their niche. We've got some agents that are really great at development. We've got a few commercial real estate agents, and then we have, I think you're doing wealth planning, right? That's your niche. Kind of explain that specific educational process, how to become what's called a wealth planner.
So, as you can tell, I'm a younger gentleman here, so it's harder to keep up with, say, the much older universe of the world, maybe 70, 80, 90-year-old folks that have maybe built a portfolio of real estate. And so learning things like a 1031 exchange, Delaware statutory trust, senior relocation services, I can't even think trust and probate. Maybe there's some death in the family, maybe there's divorce. And so what I'm learning is how I can communicate well and effective to a much older crowd by going through this process, because maybe they don't necessarily just want to sell it. Maybe they want to sell it and maybe get more stocks or bonds. The idea is to help protect them and help them figure out how to generate more wealth through real estate than more losing the wealth by just selling and liquidating and then paying capital gains tax and things of that nature, which will ultimately hurt their wealth. So that would be what I found out through my development over the last couple of years now, through what we would call Keller Williams Planner Community.
Planner community. Yeah. So we also have a relocation community. We also have a young professionals community, and we have military and a few more. There's tons.
Yeah.
These communities kind of help you nicheify your business. So the culture is about building careers worth having, businesses worth owning, lives worth living, experiences worth giving, and legacies worth living. Our vision is to be the real estate company of choice here in the greater Keller Williams, Everett, Snohomish, Linwood, Mill Creek, Edmonds area. We want to be the real estate company of choice for not only agents, but for their customers. Let's talk about building wealth. So one of the things that, as much as our passion is around, helping people build businesses, but this legacy is worth living and leaving. And this is what draw a lot of people to the real estate field, is building wealth through real estate. So let's talk about these options here. The first one is investment properties. As a real estate agent, you get insight and discounts, right? So Jason, are you actively looking for something to invest in right now?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
The great thing is, every time I go on a listing presentation, talk to a seller, I'm thinking to myself, okay, how do I help them the best? But is there an opportunity for me at the same token? So if it would make sense to move forward, for example, I had a condo about 60 days ago and it wasn't the right opportunity, but the seller did say, hey, how much could I sell this for? And I said, well, today, $220,000. He goes, well, I'm kind of handy. So what would you recommend I do? And I said, well, paint, flooring, electrical outlets, and what do you call it? Baseboards. And he goes, really? Okay, how much would that be? And I'd say, well, you're probably going to spend 10, 15,000. He goes, okay, well, how much could you sell it for then? I said, 300,000. He looked at me and goes, really? I could make about $80,000. And I said, absolutely. Believe it or not, we went on the market last week at 315,000 and we sold it in 2 days. So we went from 220 to 315 in a very short period of time for him to be able to make 95,000. However, if he was willing to walk away at 220, that would have been an opportunity that I would have picked up, because I saw the opportunity of investing $15,000 back into a property to make right around that 100,000. So
Yeah.
you're going to run across those types of opportunities any given moment.
No doubt, because there's more things going on in a person's lives besides just selling a house, and they may not be handy. They may be willing to just walk away like that. I think that's great. As a real estate agent, you should always be looking at something as, should I buy this investment? Should I buy this? Should I do something with this? So the other thing you could do is you can build a team. Now, a team building process is that evolution of when your leads, your listings turn to leverage, meaning you want to, hang out with your family when in the evenings or on the weekends. You want to be a present individual in the lives of others. Well, sometimes if you have so much business, you have to turn to leverage. And that leverage can look like an assistant. It can look like a showing assistant. It can look like a listing assistant. And that's where we have the pathway here at Keller Williams to help guide you in the process of implementing leverage into your business. And that's where the real estate team comes in. Now, another angle of that is profit share. Now, this is something that's unique to Keller Williams. There is no other company I know of that does profit share. And what profit share is here in this office is half of, not quite half, but just under half of the profit every month goes paid back to the agents who are responsible for helping grow the office. What that means is somebody like Jason or another one of our agents, Kelly here, they refer an agent that they love working with that really is looking for a better experience in their brokerage. They join the office. When that individual produces, that individual pays into the revenue. When that revenue flows to profit in a given month, then Kelly or Jason in this one would receive a portion of the profits relative to the amount of revenue that they sent to the office. And that's no cost to anybody. That's just saying, hey, I'm finding success here in this office. What's cool about this is this allows agents to help somebody new like Jason. Well, you're not new, but somebody like Jason have a profitable business. Why? We want Jason bringing in more revenue. Why? Because not just because Jason, I might get profit share off him, but one of my colleagues who joined, who's now successful as well, pays into profit as well. So we all win when we're working to help each other succeed. That's one of the cool tenets about our win-win. Expansion teams. Are you familiar with that expansion concept, Jason?
Absolutely. We can open up through Keller Williams nationwide or even worldwide, where we can grow our businesses so large to where we can expand into another office in a whole nother territory. And we can be somewhat of a coach to those new areas, to agents that maybe you have family or friends in another state or even another county, where maybe you're mentoring them and now they're helping you expand your team, your brand into another market. And so you can expand and grow off of that.
Yeah, and I see it shows expansion teams and expansion partners. I think the order that would be an expansion partner. So I would take somebody and I'd put them in Spokane, and I say, you are now the Spokane part of my team. We're gonna help all the logistics. You just go sell real estate, be boots on the ground. The expansion team would be now that individual adds people. So there's an ability to grow from that real estate team locally to regionally, nationally, and beyond. And then the other one is a franchise owner. Like we currently are looking for, I believe, a franchise owner team out of Linwood. So if you wanted to own your own brokerage, that's something you could do through the Keller Williams model as well. So again, why I got started in real estate is I saw the opportunity to build a big world, and those all exist here at Keller Williams. Okay, the other things that we can say are what makes Keller Williams, Pacific Northwest, here Keller Williams Everett, different than all the other Keller Williams around the region. First off, we are part of the Ben Kinney network. He is our franchise owner. He's been in the real estate over 20 years. And he runs over 20 different real estate teams across the country. We talked about that expansion team and expansion partners. So we're part of a very successful real estate network, and there are 7 other offices affiliated with the Ben Kinney companies. We've got Bellingham, we have Marysville, we have North Seattle, we have East Side in Kirkland, we have West Seattle, Tacoma, and Olympia. So as a part of having that, you have regional, or what we call network training. So we have our 8 groups that kind of get together and help train and coach our agents across this network. We have mortgage and escrow companies, ancillary services, and then a whole nother layer of technology that I won't bore you with, but there's another layer of technology outside of the Keller Williams products that's provided that many of our agents take advantage of as well. So anything you want to add about the Ben Kinney Company and the network?
Absolutely. I couldn't be more thankful and blessed for this opportunity. I have been able to do business in Bellingham, Mount Vernon, Marysville, down to Tacoma and Olympia. I've met my clients at these offices. To me, that is the hugest advantage is I can definitely take any lead up and down the I-5 and say, hey, I can meet you at my office. And any of these firms I call, they're willing to give me a conference room and a table, and I'm able to meet my clients just as if it was my office. So for me, it has brought me thousands. I don't want to overscare you and say hundreds of thousands, but it has brought me thousands of extra revenue that I've been able to generate because I've been able to have a brick and mortar, which still in this day and age, people want to go to an office. So it'd be hard to do a Zoom, or it's harder to do things more if you don't have a location, if you're meeting at a Starbucks or things like that. So to me, huge advantage being part of this network.
Yeah, awesome. All right, so most likely you may have a few questions that this video did not address. We thank you for taking the time to watch it all the way through. You're welcome to send an email back with any questions. Reach out to Susie, myself, Jason. We'll make sure our numbers are on this email. That way, if you have a very specific question. But thank you for your time. Thanks for watching. We're just under an hour, so I wanted to try and keep it there. If you need to rewind and rewatch, go right ahead at your leisure. We look forward to seeing your journey joining the real estate agent ranks.